Well, I hadn't made a vlog in a while. I made one yesterday and I deleted it. I uploaded it for some reason. I deleted it a few minutes later. So I was so the tempo was wrong and the subject was just not worth talking about really. and anyway, it was what was it? It was an answer uh, to a thing on justice, and that gets into philosophy, and then that opens up the whole question of free will, and that begs the question of God, and so on. and then you get into opinion-based stuff. Everything I need to know about the cosmos and the nature of God, I've already figured out in perfect. It fits perfect sense to me. In fact, I think it's perfect for me. That's probably the key word, probably for everybody. But what is that with don't get into religion and politics, which to me are both offshoots of philosophy. Um, and everything I need to know about philosophy can be summed up. Let's see. Let's say you're in a desert, the Gobi Desert or the Sahara Desert, 1,000 miles from anywhere, and there's a bus stop, and there's two uh, uh, um, somebody just sent me a thing. Uh, you're at a bus stop, and there's other people there, and you're there. Um, and this sums up all of those subjects for me: philosophy, religion, politics. You're all there at that bus stop for the exact same reason, and anybody who tries to tell you any different is just completely full of shit. I needed some extra credits when I was in school, and I ended up taking philosophy, and I was interested in it, but it seemed like an easy kill. You'd sit around. I thought we'd sit around and bullshit about stuff. What I didn't know was uh, there was stacks and volumes of books, and basically at first I didn't. I had interest in the subject. For some reason, I balked. I didn't read them, and then the professor, Dr. Critelli, who I like immensely, figured it out, and he was really hassling me. So I did read the stuff, all the books and materials, and he had copped an attitude towards me because on the first day I was talking to this friend that I always sat next to in philosophy, and I was like, "This is an easy kill, man. All we have to do is sit here and bullshit about stuff." And Dr. Critelli overheard that, and so he had an attitude about me anyway. And cool, I like him immensely, though. Cool guy, and still do. Um, and anyway, what did I do? Oh, I wrote a paper, and I gathered up every damn philosophy thing that had ever been written. And I realized, well, these are all things I've already thought. Let me organize them neatly. And then I went several weeks, and I finally did the final thing on a well-written paper, I thought. And it was, because he said, oh, this is, when I turned it in, he said, this is absolutely stunning in its depth, breadth, and clarity. And I've been doing this 40 years, teaching philosophy, and I've never seen one that is this concise and this well thought out, and blah blah. And I was like, well, good. This guy, I'm easy A. Not easy, but an A, of course. And that was after class, and I was at front of the room. So I said, oh, well, cool, check you later. And as I was walking out the door, he goes like, mm-hmm. And he goes, you do realize this is philosophy? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, so these are your opinions? And I was like, uh-huh. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. And he goes, two things. What was it? Oh, justice. He goes, best, most well-written paper I've ever seen in 40 years in the business. Justice, C minus. I think he was saying there isn't any justice, you know. And then the other thing was he said something else about opinion. I don't know, but uh, basically, I took it to mean to say that. Oh, he said you do realize that your opinion and that lesser minds than yours, your entire life, will be something to do with sword fighting, foiling with you, or uh, jousting with you over these issues, and that these lesser minds have an opinion that is every bit as valid as your own. And I think that was his way of saying, you think you're really smart, and you sort of manipulated me into, trying to give me an A, but, fuck you, I caught you. You're not as smart as you think. So, clever man, I like him. But yeah, I got into religion and philosophy, which are both sort of pathways to nowhere, and I think it's probably I have the keys to the universe that I figured out long ago. I don't really ponder shit anymore. I do on a sort of occasionally. I'm always pondering stuff with the idea that I have an open mind, but a fixed working theorem on the whole thing that works quite well for me. So, and I'm mainly a musician, and one thing that really annoys me and pisses me off is musicians. Uh, uh, just because they're good at sort of producing records, suddenly sprout opinions all over the place, and that can really annoy the piss out of me. And somehow their opinion is more valid than anyone else's because they make good music. And I don't think that's necessarily true. But yeah, I just think you run the risk of which I usually don't mind, but in this context, I had another video log, and it was about physics, and physics turns into often philosophy questions all the time. And if a tree falls, or the double slit experiment and stuff like that. The double slit's actually really cool, and it says that matter can be multiple places in multiple dimensions at once. To me, to me, uh, but I had another one, and it just degenerated into sort of uh, being the arrogant jackass that I can be. What I saw is like, lesser minds fucking spouting out bullshit opinions without even studying mine. So a lot of ego and arrogance enters into those fields, and I think by their nature, with philosophy, or which is an opinion-based sport, or religion, which is an opinion-based sport, or politics, which is an opinion-based sport, uh, that you have to be sort of egotistical and arrogant and sort of a megalomaniac to just think that you know things that other people don't know, which I clearly have and do. I mean, I figured out mathematically and using physics, a hard science, not a soft science like the others mentioned, some aren't even a science. That's why they're philosophies. How God works, how the universe operates. I spent the last couple years before this, not only a few years before this, trying to get them to do at the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider, to do an experiment of mine. It's just like music. There's 3,000 guys who think they're smarter than you in front of you, so you're not probably going to get anywhere with that multi-billion-dollar piece of gear. It's interesting. Of the four basic forces of the universe, light force, dark force, gravity, and electromagnetism. I know the most about electromagnetism, by the way, in physics, the electromagnetic spectrum, which is everything that surrounds us, energy and matter. But it's connected to gravity, and we don't quite know how. That gravity is the thing we know the least about, and yet the most pervasive force, the most interesting one, and we really don't know anything about it. But yeah, I'm getting too technical. I mean, I've been really happy with the last couple of music files I've submitted for people's approval. Uh, I was very happy with uh, the last few, and the last two I decided to apply myself. I did Coldplay's Clocks, which I've had sort of an obsession with time and that particular song for a while, and uh, I added another musical part, and I was kind of hesitant to upload it because it's a counterpoint to the main melody, and I thought, well, people will get pissed off about this or never accept it. But then, as every person who tries to make art, I just went, well, fuck it. That would be interesting to know. And so far, it's been well received. I actually featured that for the next 24 hours, and I've contacted Hal is over there contacting 30,000 Coldplay fans and 10,000 U2 fans who really, and I think I gave those a professional listen. I like them both, but I would say that U2 Red Hill Mining Town is the best thing I've ever done for myself, produced for myself. It's up there with stuff that I've done for, major league talent. I put some care into it, and it came out nice. I mean, you can put all the care you want into something, it may suck in the end, I think that's part of being sort of a professional producer over a lifetime, is the chance of something totally sucking at the end is much less the more practice you have, and it may not be stellar, but it won't suck. But I'm happy and proud of that. And what did David say? The Irishman. I couldn't have went to Irishman or Us and hired from Central Casting a better Irishman. I watched it. I hadn't watched it. I upload and watch it once, and I'm like, well, that's done, And I watched it yesterday, and both of those again this morning to verify that they were working, properly as files. And yeah, he looks fucking awesome in that. I made him look epic. He just looked epic. The way my mind works is I'm happy to get all the spam from people with little videos usually, because when I click on a video, I'm like, oh, that little clip of a train station will work from 10 seconds to 12.7 seconds in the next video or 5 videos down the line. Let me sort of save that to watch later, and I'll come back and grab it if I don't have train video that I've already shot. But I try to go with just really images that I've shot myself. I did one of those with a sequence of images, that animation that I'm fully capable of doing myself, that I found that the Coldplay one, that was just perfect, and I didn't want to spend the extra probably a couple of weeks it would have taken me to create that video. And a lot of it's in the Creative Commons and so on, and I have a pretty clear vision. Videos don't take me that long. It's really, my philosophy on that is, you make a video, and I hate being in my own videos, but there was 2.5 minutes of the animation, and a 5-minute song wasn't enough. But my philosophy is take out everything that looks amateurish and stupid, and even take too much out, and just keep doing that, and you'll have a nice video at the end. And if it's not working, then start all over or try another concept. But those usually go in 12 hours for me. And being a physicist who studies the electromagnetic spectrum, both all of sound and all of there's a damn Tom Petty fan. I contacted them weeks ago. All of sound and all of light falls into that. Everything from the fireplace in your fire to gamma radiation. The fire in your fireplace to gamma. Working with sound and light can be weird. I mean, it's like it's about the sound, and I can't ever forget that. And I have to remind myself there's 2 specific phases of this. I was for a long time tracking, like on the ones with the guitars. I felt it was important to track the actual guitar lead as I was doing it, and not pretend I was doing it, which took sometimes to get the perfect shot and the perfect sound, 100, 200 takes, looping over and over again, and then finding that footage and matching it with the sound, matching it up with the sound. So it was, I'm not going to do that anymore, and it's needless anyway. It does add a certain realism, but anyway, it's important for me to bear in mind that the audio section is absolutely separate from the video section, and to take a little time between those two. And I'm happy with the way things have come out. I've been applying myself a little more. I can do much better and will, but yeah, I guess that's maybe vastly oversimplifying it, but to take out the things that that suck and leave the things that don't suck in your video, and the same with your mixes, and it'll be nice, you know. So I am happy. Was in the last few days, my health has quickly deteriorated, so I've stepped up efforts to get everything I'm going to do with guitar done, and all the tracking done, and all the videos done, to get them posted, and you know, before things are put to an abrupt halt by health issues. So I don't know. It has been a blast, but no, I posted one vlog yesterday and was just completely like, man, I don't want to get into philosophy, and I don't want to get into religion, and I don't want to get into politics. Those are dead end streets that I've already have the keys to the kingdom about, and you know, that's for me absolute answers about everything in the universe, up to and including the nature of God. But I'm just a musician. You know, that works for me. Like as stated, the problem with those fields is that they're opinion based, and I study all the latest information. I keep an open mind. I'm constantly cycling those subjects around, as I said, bearing in mind that I've already come to a pretty clear-cut, decisive, on paper, written out over hundreds of thousands of pages and 40 years of conclusions that aren't going to change. It's just like with in philosophy, just when you think you've thought of some new theorem or some new philosophical way of approaching things, you find out it was done like 500 years ago. So kind of hard to break new ground there, except in the interpersonal arena for yourself. So I'm not all that. There are things that I bear in mind, but I'm just not too deadly interested in that kind of thing, because it takes a lot of time and effort. So a lot of pain, and some new severe issues that are getting worse by the hour, and have been for the last few days. So that's where I'm at. I'm really making these to remind me of where I was at in this process, although, you know, if it ends up being my own epitaph, then so be it. That's not anything other than, you know, I'm a soft determinist as far as my philosophy and as far as anything else. I think until you've sort of experienced a long-term, debilitating, agonizingly painful illness, it would probably be hard for you to judge me or this situation accurately in any way. So yeah, that's where my head is at, and I'm happy with the work I'm doing. So there you go, vlog done.